In this episode, we'll go over what I did to make a budget manifold for the K-Series. It's actually a front-wheel drive manifold that I modified to make it into a rear-wheel drive manifold. And honestly, you could use it if you had a reverse rotation turbo, but as we all know, those are expensive. So I'll go over that and a little update on things I've done. Not on camera, just regular maintenance stuff. Kind of just doing what I can because I haven't had all my parts arrive. I'm still waiting on an oil pan, which is a really crucial part, but I'm just kind of doing everything I can besides the oil pan. So I started doing the timing guides and the timing chain tensioner. I also put in one of these little additional, like, I guess you call it like a timing chain guide, I guess, but essentially it's like later on when I upgrade cams or what have you, I won't have to hold the timing chain up so that it doesn't skip a tooth. It just can't skip a tooth with that piece there. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, and I got the other chain on there for the Type S oil pump. I'm not sure if I'm gonna have to take off this guide in order to put the Type S oil pump in there. I'm pretty sure I can do it without, as long as there's no tensioner installed. I still have to modify the oil pump to fit the K24. That's in a future episode. But I got the injectors installed. I got Bosch 2200s in there. And the manifold's just like bolted up with this one bolt, just to kind of show you, give you an idea what it looks like on here with the turbo. Just put new valve seals in as well. Just kind of searched and poked around the internet just to see what these generally go through or have problems with, and Hondas apparently like to burn oil from the valve seals. So I swapped those out. That was a whole interesting task in itself, only because I've never dealt with these engines and the whole like cam girdle thing, whatever you want to call that. That was kind of a nightmare to figure out. It's actually really easy, but I didn't really understand how to take it apart without it exploding. So I figured that out quickly. Also, word of advice, don't try to torque your VVT gear with the lock pins, the cam lock pin, because you will shear off the keyway. I was going to lock it with the just a wrench, but I think it's like a 23 millimeter, and I don't have a 23, nor do I own a crescent wrench, which is kind of funny. But today I did buy some crescent wrenches. So I won't run into that problem. Also, I don't know if I showed this in the last video, but my oil return to the factory seal cover came out pretty good, but I just would like it to be out of aluminum, so I remade it out of aluminum. So that's cool. So I have the drain all set up. Can't really install it yet because I want to paint the timing cover because it's all dingy. So you can't even see it. It's all underneath all this junk. I also bought one of these. But it's really only designed to, like, if you're going to run a K20 manifold on a K24, I believe. And I bought it just because I was thinking about trying to, you know, just separate the coolant from the intake manifold to keep the intake air temps down, which I still may do. Just kind of trying to figure out all my ventilation stuff and what I'm gonna delete and what I'm gonna keep. I did buy some AN bungs to go on the side of the valve cover. I'm just kind of doing some research, and then I kind of don't want to weld those in until I have the engine in the car. Also, I welded a 6AN to the power steering pump. That didn't go so well. That was actually really hard to weld. Probably because it's just soaked in power steering fluid. Like, didn't matter how much I cleaned it. Also, the fitting I used was from a eBay fitting for my fuel rail. So who knows what kind of aluminum or what the heck that thing was made out of. But it's on there. It's sealed. It'll get me by for now. I really need to come up with something. I know like K-Tune makes one that you just bolt on to make it 6AN. It also, but it faces the wrong direction, which I guess would be fine if I like came around and back under. I just figured I just wanted just, you know, a tight 90 here, and then I could shoot down through this hole and then to my rack. These mounts I got are from FatBot. I was gonna make them myself. I mean, it's relatively easy, but when I started thinking about it, like buying the bolts, I already have the metal, but then like making the spacers, just all that, it's already made. It's really clean. It's only $100, and you know, the amount of time it would take to put them together and make them, I just buy them. They're only like $100, so I mean, that's pretty cheap. A little glance at the manifold. Oh, and this came with a 2-bolt 38 flange, but I'm gonna run a 44 V-band, and then I just ported the inside out to 44. So that came out pretty good. Could kind of, oh, can you see? No, you can't. Sorry, I'm rotating the camera. I'm not very good at this. Maybe if I can get behind. Let's see here. So, you see I just welded this bend on here, and that's a I think 2 1/4 Schedule 40 stainless bend. Trying to remember what filler rod I used. Anyways, it's specifically made for welding cast. I think it has really high nickel content. And I've welded several cast pieces, including like on the turbo housings and such, and never had any issues. So yeah, see how this one goes. Best part about this is this manifold on eBay is like $98 or something. I'll post the ad, and it's made out of cast. It's bulletproof. There's no way this thing's ever gonna have any problems. Obviously, power will be limited, but I will say for the money, it's actually a really good design. Like, all the runners are actually angled to where they need to exit. On the inside, it actually has a nice little hump in there. So the pulses, I mean, they're still gonna be fighting each other like a traditional log, but not as bad because of this angle. Even the runners that are in front of these guys, it's all angled relatively good. The wastegate placement could be an issue. We'll find out if it is. Worst case scenario, I'll cap this off, put one maybe down here or on the exhaust housing. And that's how I had it on my LS swap. I just had cut it here and then had a tube notched and then had a wastegate on that, and that was just a single 44. Didn't have any issues with boost, creep, or anything. So I think it's just all about design. You know, some people run a giant 60 mil wastegate and they still have boost creep. I think they're just placing their wastegate in the incorrect position. So yeah, that's kind of everything I've done so far, I believe. I'll take the manifold off and kind of give you a closer look maybe. Sorry, I'm really tight on space in here. between me and then the kids' junk, it's just chaotic. Oh, you know what else? I took the auto harness. I should have recorded that, but there is videos out there. So essentially, took all the automatic harness. This is a mixture of a separate harness I have, but the wires I pulled out of it, I mean, I don't know if that's the pile or not, but I mean, I pulled out a substantial amount of wires out of the auto harness that weren't necessary. I left a couple, like for anything for like the future, but like the solenoid, I know what pins this goes to on the harness, so I can always use that for alternative things. I also left the auto input shaft speed sensor, I believe it is, but it's also the same as the VSS, like if it was a manual, I believe. Don't quote me on that. Let's see, what else did I do? Yeah, I said I was going to take that manifold off, so I'll do that. But first, let me show you some stuff that I got in the mail as well. Let's see here. Crank sensor, or wait, crank seal. Another crank seal. Fat bot, super legit, dude. Look at this. Wait till you see this. So this is like the heart of the whole system. Let's see here. These bolts are for the K series. Bolt that on. Then we bolt this piece to it. Makes it into an LS bolt pattern. The center portion is the same as LS pilot bearing. The outer portion can be used for automatic. So ultimately, I don't think the K series will ever break the CD09, but maybe it will. But if it did, it's already going to be ready for a T56, or if I go to the dark side and go auto, which I hope I never do, I could do that. Comes with all the hardware. This is the adapter plate. Super nice piece. The only thing that I don't really like is it has a custom starter. And I've yet to figure out what the part number is or anything, so I just don't want to, like, the only thing that sketches me out is like, oh, my starter goes bad and I have this custom adapter plate that's, you know, only for this specific starter that I can't get, you know what I mean? Like, so I mean, this company's been around for a long time and they're very very good as far as the customer service and stuff. I would like to figure out that starter. I mean, I guess I could figure out how to rebuild it and such, but anyways, I got that. And then also I got a Type S oil pump from the junkyard, but then I was like, do I really want to put a used oil pump in? So I bought this pump. It's a Type S pump. Actually, I can't remember the part number. Actually, part number there. Actually ordered this from Japan, and the reason why I did was it was $100 cheaper than all the other companies that were selling the same exact pan, OEM Honda. So I'm like, what the heck? Like, why isn't anybody buying these? Why is everybody paying an extra $100? And I figured, well, you know, I have time, and so I'll save $100. And it literally came in 4 days, straight from Japan. I have orders from Amazon that still haven't even came, but yeah, I can order something off eBay from Japan, and it's here in 3 or 4 days. So crazy. So kind of a closer look on the back side of the turbo manifold. Came out pretty good, you know, considering. So yeah, should work pretty good. I'm only going to try to make maybe like 400. Be nice to push it to 5, but I also want to build a short block before it throws a rod, so there's that. Anyways, you see inside there? No, you can't. I did a lot of a pretty aggressive porting in the inside there to make my own velocity stacks out of these stock runners that came inward, and then I just ported them outward. It looks pretty good, but unfortunately I can't really show that. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I haven't shown you guys. Also, some useful information. If you're going to delete your AC and you have the factory K24A2 pulley, crank pulley, or harmonic balancer, whatever you want to call it, and you want to keep power steering, there's not a lot of information out there that tells you what kind of belts you can run. I did find a guy that did run the setup, and he was nice enough to share the part number, and I'll try to link his channel below. So the part number for the belt is that KO70553. But if you type that in on eBay, this belt will show up, and this is actually a really good belt, but it's way less expensive, and obviously has an interchange of all these belts. So essentially I paid $10 for this belt, but if you got, like, say the Gates or Dayco or these other brands, we're talking like $30 or $40. So a little hack there, if you want to call it. So worth a shot. I mean, obviously if I have any issues, it was $10, but I mean, everything looks really good quality on it. Also, if there's anything that you guys want to see, if you want to see me actually do the work, which is generally what I like to watch, it's just really hard to film, but I will film it if you guys really want to see it. It's like this video, we didn't even work on anything, yet it's super long. And I'm just going over what I've already done. So I need to learn how to record and not ramble on and show everything. So I'll work on getting some sort of tripod. I'm filming with my camera, my phone, but I have a GoPro, but it's just, you have to be so up close and personal with that thing just to get any good shots, it seems. So anyhow, thanks for watching.